Struggle with budget allocation? You don't have to, because in this video I'm going to explain the simple 50-30-20% budget rule. In fact, I used this rule for a while, but once my circumstances changed, I made many improvements. But if you are a newbie and you need to get started, this rule is excellent to begin with. So doers, I welcome you to our Path VC channel that helps people to become prosperous doers using the 7 wealth stages framework. And today's video is part of the stage called Control Personal Finances. But before we get started, I want you to tap on the like and subscribe button below. It will help the YouTube algorithm push more attention and inspiration to doers who need it. Okay? So now let's get started with the 50-30-20% budget rule. Category number 1, 20% savings. First, let me tell you this. As you may have already known, in order to save more than 20% of your income, I've been always saying to focus on 2 most important factors. Number 1, master the skill called pay yourself first. And second, always look for opportunities to increase your income. Because in this way, you will be able to save more, invest more, and build your wealth. However, while talking now about the 50-30-20% budgeting, and as a rule of thumb, if you just get started, is to save at least 20% of your income. It means to master the skill pay yourself first and allocate your budget to several buckets based on your current situation. For example, use this money first to repay high interest or other bad debt. Speaking of high interest, it could be your credit card, because if you don't repay on time, it accrues and it is painful once you let the snowball grow. In addition, it can be other debt such as consumer loans or some high interest non-institutional loans that are tricky. Either way, focus to repay your debt fast. It can also be repayment of your mortgage or several mortgages on your real estate investment portfolio to speed up the process. And of course, savings to your emergency account is a must. For example, I relocate right now from Asia to Europe with my wife. And since we've developed an emergency account, we have a budget to set up a new life until we kick off again our earned income. But most importantly, the part of your 20% must be used for investing as much as you can in yourself, your brain, your skills, and assets that provide monthly drips. And I talk about it in detail in the 7-step brain budget video that you can find on the top right corner. Alright? Now, the next category is category number 2, 30% wants. This part of your wants comes in handy when you are in need of indulgence. However, this category can be very tricky to control, because it's easy to go to the shopping mall, visit a couple of fashion shops and swipe your credit cards. And by the end of the month, you realize you overspent your budgeting and you are back in the cycle of repaying debts just because you have no control over your personal finances. So speaking of the 50-30-20% budgeting, as a rule of thumb, your 30% of wants should be planned in the following parts, but not limited. For example, extra clothing. Listen, I warn in this part, especially girls and women. You get the point, right? Another part is subscriptions. I want to mention here, avoid subscription that you really don't need, such as useless TV programs or services. Go through your list and unsubscribe from all items that eat up your wallet. Another portion of your wants can be allocated eating in the restaurants with your spouse, traveling, occasional entertainment, or additional things for your kids if you have any. But remember, you have to have the wise financial literacy to control your wants, as it's easy to overspend your budget. Be smart. And the last vital category is category number 3, 50% needs. Without a doubt, these are expenses that you cannot avoid. Either you have to pay them from your earned income or could be also covered from your assets that are the best scenario. But sticking with the 50-30-20% budgeting as a rule of thumb for income earners, 50% of your salary should be sufficient to cover all your needs. Now, what are those needs? Okay, let's break them down into main parts. First and foremost is housing. Simply said, you want to make sure your home is your environment where you feel safe and where you find always peace in mind after a whole day working or even when you work at the home office. So making your housing pleasant with furniture, plants, or kitchen utensils is a must. Next, if you are a parent, your responsibility is to take care of your child or children. It means always keep fresh food in the fridge, ideally seasonal food, and cook at home. Another key part is your family's health insurance, because there are always expenses to it. In addition, it is about insurance payments of your housing, car, and anything that is needed to insure based on your situation. Besides, you also want to think about this part, such as minimal loan repayment. Don't be confused with the savings category, as this is meant differently. Here is about thinking of the minimum loan repayment. Get it? Alright. And finally, the last items in my mind right now are transportation expenses plus basic clothing costs. In conclusion, establishing 50-30-20% budget rule as soon as possible is critical. So my recommendation is this. Draw a pie chart on paper. Write in all items to the particular categories and during the time, adjust as you need. But do not break the rules in the beginning, because the goal is to develop a habit. Does it make sense? Now, what was at least one golden nugget in this video you learned? Leave us a comment below. Remember, at the PADVC 7 Wealth Stages framework, we are here to create the movement of prosperous doers to build your professional and personal growth. In the end, it is up to you to unleash your revolution and stand out from the average and ordinary life. Because you want to become a prosperity doer and you want to build a better life, which means holistic wealth. So that's all, doers, for today. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to like it and share it with your friends. It will help the YouTube algorithm push more attention and inspiration to doers who need it. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you next week.